Hi everyone, my name is Hannah Fulbright. A lot of you wanted me to do a video on Shepard's whole birth story. So here we go. I'm going to start all the way back in July. I have some notes here so I don't forget some things. So Monday, July 9th, I had Shepard on a Saturday, by the way. So Monday, July 9th, I started getting cramps on and off. I kind of wrote these off as maybe I worked too much the previous day on the house. We had just moved. And so what I did is I was like, oh, I'll just drink more water. It's probably that it's hot outside. And they kind of went away. But Tuesday, they started getting worse. And my mom had told me, she goes, you should probably call your doctor, which I did not do. So word of advice for any pregnant person or any person with a baby, I would say always call pediatrician, your OB, your doctor. If you have any anxieties, fears, questions, it is their job to answer. So don't feel guilty for calling them any time of the day or night. I wish I had done it sooner. So that's my word of advice. So Tuesday it started getting more intense. My whole back was hurting, especially my lower back, which I thought was weird. I contacted a few friends who had babies before, and they said it's probably just Braxton Hicks. You're entering your 3rd trimester, but give your doctor a call just in case. And I was thinking, well, I thought I've been having Braxton Hicks since probably week, I don't know, 10. I've been feeling Braxton Hicks. It's like a weird tightening, and it wasn't crampy. But I was like, well, maybe whatever I was feeling was nothing, and this is what Braxton Hicks are supposed to feel like. But, so anyways, Wednesday the 11th, it just intensified even more. I debated calling my OB, but again, I really just didn't want to be that girl who was, saying it's so painful, it's so bad, and then they go to the hospital and it's nothing, and you're getting sent home. I didn't want to, I don't know, I just didn't want to be that girl, I guess, which is stupid. It was more towards the early evening, and I was crying to my husband, Robbie, and I was like, there's something wrong, this isn't normal, I just don't know what to do. And I think he was trying to give me advice, but I really wasn't listening to him. I was just crying. And he got frustrated with me and came into our room, and I was in the living room and I was still crying. We both apologized later that evening, but it's kind of ironic and funny because later in the evening, probably around 9 o'clock, the cramps just kept getting closer and closer together. So I went on an app because I was like, I think these are contractions. So I started timing them, and then I don't know, they were pretty bad. I decided I would call my OB at like 9 in the morning when my OB opened. But all through the night it just kept getting worse and worse, and I got out of bed, I was walking around the house just really uncomfortable. I did that weird little pregnant move where you put your hands on the wall and you kind of shake back and forth to help ease the back pain. It really wasn't working. I tried getting a bath. I tried laying on my left side. I drank more water, and it wasn't working. And normally it worked. So it had worked before, and it wasn't working now. And so I couldn't handle it anymore, so I called the doctor at 4:30 in the morning, the on-call doctor. And I said, I'm so sorry to bother you at this time, but I've been getting these like crampy feelings on and off, like every couple of minutes for this amount of time. And he goes, how far along are you? I said, I'm 27 weeks today. And he goes, yeah, you need to go to labor and delivery at the hospital immediately. So I was like, thanks, great. So I go into our room and I wake up Robbie, and I said, I called the doctor, and he said, we have to go to the hospital. I remember putting on my maternity shorts and then a striped shirt. I remember putting on the clothes thinking, this is it. I'm probably not coming home. Maybe I should pack other things, but I didn't end up packing anything else. So we drive to Banner Gateway. That's where my OB delivers, and that's where I was gonna go to the hospital. We get there. Let's see. We were admitted to the hospital. We spoke with a lady at a computer. She was just typing away, like, how far along are you? What are you experiencing? And she could see that I was having, I was getting very uncomfortable. I was having a contraction. And so she then sent me to another room, and then they put me in a gown and put me on monitors to see if I was actually having a contraction. And it was. I kind of felt a little bit of a sigh of relief, which sounds awful. Because I was like, okay, I'm not going crazy. Something is happening to me and to the body, like my body. So she sent another nurse in to check my cervix, which, by the way, was horrible. I didn't realize how bad getting your cervix checked actually felt. I don't know if it was just me, but it was pretty bad. So she checked my cervix, and I ended up being 4 centimeters dilated. And at that point in my head, I was thinking, this isn't good. I've seen plenty of birth videos where 4 centimeters, you're not allowed to go home. It's almost halfway. I am in labor. And so I kind of was explaining to Robbie, like, this isn't, like, great. Because I don't think he quite understood the whole 4 centimeters thing. So at this point, I was well aware that I am not leaving the hospital. Then they just started full force. They were like, okay, you need magnesium sulfate. So they put that in an IV. They warned me. They said, it's going to feel like the flu, which it did not feel like the flu. It felt like I had tunnel vision. I couldn't see. I felt like I was going to pass out. It was horrible. And then I threw up. And I was on MAG for the whole time until I had Shepherd. So that was a Thursday morning at this point at like 4:30, 5:30. Yeah, about 5. Then they gave me steroid shots. Back to the magnesium sulfate, sorry. The MAG, just reading my notes because I forget a lot of things. The MAG is like a double whammy. Magnesium sulfate kind of, I wouldn't say helps prevent, but it's like proactive in trying to prevent, let's just use the word, cerebral palsy in a premature baby. So that's really important. And then what it also does, sometimes it kind of slows down your contractions in your labor, which is what they wanted to do. They wanted to stop it. So it kind of does 2 things. And then they said, okay, you need steroid shots. So they gave me steroid shots in my bum. And they said that these steroid shots are extremely important in lung development of your baby. And it also helps prevent brain bleeds in your baby when the baby's being born. So it's extremely important that you get these. Now, they really want you to have 2 rounds of these shots, and they want you to have it 1 round, and then 24 hours later another round, and then another 24 hours later. Then you're fine. You've like made it. Your baby now has the full amount that they want you to have, basically. So it's like a 48-hour window. So I got that at 5:30 a.m. on a Thursday. And no one probably remembers, but I do. But he was born on a Saturday at 7 a.m. So I was able to make it to the full 48 hours, which was my whole goal by the end of all of this. The goal right now is to keep him in, stay pregnant. But then they also said, we can't keep you here. Our NICU is not equipped. It's not that level to deal with babies being born this early. I think 32 is the earliest that they will deal with at Banner Gateway. I'm pretty sure. So we need to either air vac you or send you in an ambulance. I heard the word air vac and just I fell apart inside. It's serious. It was pretty serious. Robbie contacted my mom and his mom. His mom was camping, so we were like, okay, well, she won't get anything for a few hours. She won't know anything. And my mom said she would meet us at the other hospital. So the other hospital is Banner Desert. They have a level 3 NICU, I think, that can deal with babies, micro preemie. So Robbie's just doing really great. He's very steady. He has a very calm personality, which is a great contrast to my personality. I'm very high-strung inside. But we're thinking, okay, we're just not going to leave the hospital, and I'm going to be on bed rest for 13 weeks. Okay, we can do this. It'll be all right. So I get in an ambulance. They put me in an ambulance. I remember begging them. I was like, please, can't my husband just drive me? Please, please, please. It's just like 10 minutes away. They said no. And I understand why, of course. So anyways, I get in the ambulance. Robbie drives behind me in the car. I'm laying there. I'm still getting contractions at this point. It hasn't really stopped. I'm lying there trying to converse with the people in the back. By the way, ambulances look very nice and neat. I didn't really realize that. It's my first trip. So yeah. We get to Banner Desert, and then they put me in a postpartum recovery room at first because it's just an area where they're wanting to watch me and prevent the labor. So we get there. My mom gets there, I think. By the way, the magnesium sulfate made me very hazy for a couple of days, the whole time it was there. So sometimes my memory is a little bit skewed. So I think my mom came to the recovery room. And this was Thursday still, like probably 8 o'clock in the morning. So then we kind of just waited it out. Everything was just, we don't know what's going to happen. We're going to hope it's this. We're going to hope it's this. The doctors were really hopeful that the labor would stop. And it didn't. My contractions kept going. And then they did an ultrasound on the baby. And the nurse was like, okay, your baby is probably like the 15th percentile for weight. And I remember my heart just dropping, because 27 weeker, I think it was under 2 pounds, was like what gestationally should be happening. So I was thinking, okay, my baby is going to be really small. This isn't good. If I deliver now, this won't be good. I remember Karen coming in. That's Robbie's mom. I just remember bawling when she came in. It was devastating, especially for your first baby. The idea of staying in a hospital for over 3 months just sounded daunting. I was just trying my hardest, and you can't, but I was trying my hardest to stop labor, and sometimes you just can't. So that was all day Thursday, and then let's see, I think Friday. Oh, by the way, I wasn't allowed to get out of bed. I was strictly on bed rest. I wasn't allowed to get up whatsoever. So I had to use bedpans, and that was humiliating. I know it's a job for nurses to do, but I felt horrible. It was awful. So that was a little extra bit of information. Friday rolls around, so that's the 13th of July. I was able to get another round of steroid shots. Breathing was really difficult on the magnesium, so I had an oxygen mask off and on like the whole time. It really dried me out, and I don't think I was allowed to. I might have been allowed to eat a little bit sometimes, but ice, a lot of ice. My sisters came off and on. They were really helpful. Robbie's sister Christy came. She was really helpful. I had a friend Emily come, and she helped with the contraction. I was experiencing back labor, which is pretty awful. So she had nice moves that really helped. My uncle came, and my boy cousin came. He's 16. Because my aunt, who passed away about almost 2 years ago, she was on bed rest, I think, for over 2 months as well. So they came kind of to support me, which was really nice. And my uncle has a way of lightening the mood, so I really appreciated that. Yeah, so that was kind of my Friday. And I will tell you, contractions, a lot of women have told me, or they've kind of made a comment. I think women have a tendency to compare themselves. But they've told me, like, well, Hannah, you didn't really have like a normal sized baby, so you don't really know what it's like. Granted, I didn't have a regular size baby, but contractions are contractions. They can monitor them. You can see on the chart how high they go. I experienced contractions like any other pregnant woman in labor. I had back labor, which was awful. I dilate, I mean, and I would rather give birth to a 12-pound baby than to deal with what I had to deal with. So I think women need to be nicer to one another. It's unfair. I think that people have kind of said that about it. So anyways, the magnesium wasn't working. They gave me other medications to help stop it, and it wasn't working. So then the doctors were still kind of up in the air. I was there for several shifts. Hospitals shift, they change shifts so it's 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., or at least Banner Gateway. So I would get a new doctor and a new set of nurses, which was really hard, because then some nurses I loved, and doctors I loved, and it's like, okay, are you gonna be here? And I want to know what's your schedule. That was difficult. Let's see. We definitely had a doctor come in to tell us. I think they were realizing that it wasn't stopping. The labor wasn't stopping. So they had a doctor come in to tell us what would happen if I delivered. And the doctor said he won't be breathing. Be prepared, he won't be breathing at all. We'll have to intubate him. We'll have to put him in a plastic bag to stabilize his body temperature. You won't be able to see him really or hold him. You might be able to see him if things are okay. Your husband Robbie will leave you and go straight to the NICU with the baby. And there will be several nurses in delivery. So NICU staff will be there, ready for your baby, ready to go. I remember thinking, my baby's not going to make it. My son isn't going to make it. It was really scary, and it was really devastating. So, Friday, they checked my cervix again, and it was 7 centimeters. They were really trying not to check my cervix because it could increase the risk of infection, and they didn't want that. So Friday, contractions kept going, and then it was probably around 11. I chose to have an epidural, and I actually, sorry, I don't remember if they broke my water. And what happened was, I think it was 8 centimeters dilated, and they broke my water, and then it actually went smaller. And the nurses were really surprised that it did that. It kind of prolonged it, which was great, but it was really weird. And I had an epidural at around 11 p.m. I think, and I chose the epidural because they said it could prolong the delivery. So I chose to get an epidural at 11 p.m. And I will tell you, it is not painful to get an epidural whatsoever. It is not that scary. You just lean over, somebody holds your hand, and they stick a needle in your back. It's really not that bad. It's really not that bad. And then I was numb from the waist down, but actually a little further into it, the nurse was like it looked like a little wet toilet towelette. She put it on my leg and she said, "Can you feel this?" I was like, "No." And she put it on my left side. "Can you feel this?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's cold. It's really cold and it's wet." She goes, "You can feel this everywhere?" I was like, "Yep, on my toes, on my leg." So the epidural didn't work on my left side. And she paged the anesthesiologist. She's like, "Can she have another round?" He said, "No other round." So there's that. So that was 11 p.m. And the whole night, if I slept, the contractions would stop. So Robbie was just really pushing for me to sleep. And I think it did prolong the delivery because I didn't have him till 7:01 in the morning on the Saturday.